Hello and welcome to a brand new edition of our daily news program, broadcast to you live here on Canal, Algérie, coming up shortly. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, receives congratulation messages and phone calls from several leaders following his re-election for a second term. The Interior Minister confirms that the floods victimized people are fully taken in charge by the state while visiting Bishar province. And the national football team takes on tomorrow the Liberian side as part of the 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifiers. Welcome again. First in our news, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, received congratulation messages and phone calls from presidents, monarchs and leaders following his re-election for a second term. More details in this roundup with Leticia Sedqawi.
After the ANI, or the National Independent Authority for Elections, announced a landslide victory of Abdelmajid Tebboune, congratulation messages flocked to the Algerian president from world leaders, namely the custodian of the two holy mosques, King of Saudi Arabia, Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, as well as the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, who congratulated President Tebboune for his re-election for a new term. For his part, His Highness, the Prince of the Brotherly State of Kuwait, Mash'al al-Ahmad al-Jabir al-Subah, extended congratulations in a message to the President of the Republic, in which he expressed his wishes for wellness and health, and for further prosperity and development for the good relations between the two brotherly countries. For his end, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the President of the United Arab Emirates, sent a message of congratulations to the President of the Republic on the occasion of his re-election, along with His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the Vice President of the State, Prime Minister and ruler of Dubai, in addition to His Highness Sheikh Mansour bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Vice President, President of the Presidential Court, who both sent similar messages to the President of the Republic. Another congratulations message, this time from the French President Emmanuel Macron, who sent a long message on the occasion, expressing his warmest congratulations. In the same context, Macron stated that the Algerian-French relations remain exceptional on all levels, notably security and counter-terrorism. In the same message, the French president noted the importance of the dialogue between both countries, especially that Algeria is a non-permanent member at the UN Security Council, qualifying the friendship ties between France and Algeria as strong, expressing in the same respect his determination to continue the ambitious work included in the Algiers Declaration to renew the partnership. For his side, the President of the Islamic Republic of Mauritania, Mohammed Ould Sheikh Al Ghazouani, congratulated his brother, President Tebboune, on this occasion, wishing him further success in his presidential path, shedding light on the strength of the bilateral relations, while expressing his determination to further promote it in service of both peoples. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, received a phone call from his brother, Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, the President of the Federal Republic of Somalia, in which he congratulated him on his re-election as a president for a new term, wishing him and the Algerian people prosperity and development. President Abdelmajid Tebboune thanked his Somali counterpart for his sincere wishes, while reiterating his keenness to work together to strengthen the bilateral relations and to promote it to excellency in service of both peoples. As for the State Department of the United States of America, it expressed congratulations over the election's results, affirming the importance granted by the USA to relations with Algeria to promote peace and stability in the region and in the world, showcasing in the same respect its determination to strengthen bilateral relations, especially in the economic and cultural domains, as well as regional cooperation. The State Department also reaffirmed the USA's determination to continue working with the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, to promote bilateral relations during his term.
In the same context, the former President of the Republic, Yamin Zarwal, also congratulated his brother Abdelmajid Tebboune on the renewal of the Algerian people's trust and his victory for a new term. He wished him success in his endeavors over the next 5 years. For his part, the head of state thanked his brother, former President Yamin Zarwal, for his noble sentiments and loyalty to the country, wishing him health and prosperity. And the Speaker of the National People's Assembly, Brahim Boughali, congratulated President Abdelmadjid Tebboune on his re-election, stating that Tebboune is worthy of the trust placed in him by the Algerian people and is capable of leading the country through a second term. Boughali praised Tebboune's role in building a new Algeria and upholding its values during challenging global times, calling him an experienced leader who understands the people's aspirations. He also commended the calm and proper environment in which the election took place. And now to this joint communique released yesterday by the campaign teams of the three candidates for the September 7th presidential election highlighted inaccuracies, contradictions, ambiguities, and inconsistencies in the figures announced during the provisional election results by the President of the National Independent Authorities for Elections. The statement pointed to the discrepancies in the announced voted turnout rates and contradictions between the figures given by the President of the authority and the vote tally reports from municipal and provincial electoral commissions. The campaign team also noted that the lack of the key data in the announcement of provisional results, which is typically included in major national elections, and pointed out inconsistencies in the vote percentages for each candidate. Reaching to the results announced by the ANI president, the head of the MSP movement, Abdel Ali Hassani Shrif, voiced his discontent regarding these preliminary figures. Let's have a listen.
We intend to file an appeal to the Constitutional Court to review the mistakes that marked the announcement that did not disregard the number of votes only, but also the figures announced by the ANI concerning the turnout rate, that of abstention, that of voters, in addition to the blank ballots. That's the reason behind our joint press release.
The candidate of the FFS party, Youssef Aouchiche, affirmed the necessity to correct the recorded errors during the announcement of the provisional results. Let's have a listen.
All measures and provisions must be taken to put a definitive end to these acts in order to ensure that they do not reoccur during upcoming elections, thus enhancing the credibility of the electoral process and to convince citizens to take part in the political field.
And upon the closure of polling stations, the Constitutional Court began receiving the official reports of the presidential election vote counts. The process is ongoing, so the court can review and validate them. On behalf of the President of the Republic, the head of the Algerian diplomacy arrived today in Cairo to participate in the 162nd session of the Arab League Council at the level of foreign ministers. The session, which will take place tomorrow, will address several key issues central to joint Arab action, particularly the dangerous developments in Palestine and the wider region following Zionist escalation and multiple fronts, as well as the crisis and conflict threatening security and stability in several Arab countries. On the sidelines of the meeting, Ahmed Attaf will hold several bilateral discussions with his Arab counterparts to coordinate efforts led by Algeria as a non-permanent member of the UN Security Council to defend the interests of the Arab countries and advocate for the central issue of the Arab nation, which is the Palestinian case. And following the heavy rains that caused floods in several provinces of southern Algeria, including Bashar, the Interior Minister Brahim Merad inspected the region, took stock of the material damage, and confirmed the state's full support for the people hit by these floods. More details with Melissa Kavash.
The local authorities of Bashar province have launched a census operation for the families that have lost their homes and suffered from huge material losses caused by the recent heavy rains.
We've lost everything. We have no shelter. I've lost my car and my neighbor lost his house.
أنا كسوة وما عنديش كل شيء مشى مش كل شيء مشى الدار كاع مشات حاجة ما قعدتش.
Urgent measures were adopted, including a meeting chaired by the Interior Minister, held at the level of the crisis unit at the headquarters of the province, in the presence of the Solidarity and Public Works Ministers.
Trucks coming from Sidi Blabès and other provinces couldn't make it because the roads are blocked. Therefore, the People's National Army have mobilized all the necessary means, namely airplanes, to transport the needed material, in addition to 504 elements of civil defense.
Other measures were taken during these dire circumstances faced by this province, as families affected by these floods were evacuated and will be well taken care of. These same measures and procedures were taken as well to the benefit of people hit by the floods in the neighboring province of Tindouf.
We thank God no serious losses have been recorded due to the numerous measures taken, namely the cleaning of rivers, but we've registered some damage at the level of roads.
The Algerian Red Crescent, for its part, dispatched 8 caravans for the benefit of those affected by the torrential rains in both Bashar and Ama. The caravan includes tents, blankets, and food parcels.
And Algeria's permanent representative to the UN, Ammar bin Jama, highlighted while taking part in a meeting at the United Nations the importance to reinforce the UN peacekeeping missions to back the peace operations throughout the world within a strategic vision, basically intended to settle the different crises and conflicts in a peaceful way. Abroad, at least 16 Palestinians were killed during the last 24 hours by the Zionist attacks in Gaza. The Nusayrat camp and Al Barij camp in the center of the enclave were targeted this Monday. To sports now, the national football team is to face tomorrow the Liberian side as part of the 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifiers. The game will be held at Samuel Do Canyon Stadium at 5 p.m. All the best for the Desert Foxes. And with that, today's news edition comes to a close. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time.